Well, hello. So I know my last three uploads have been very interesting. And this is August the 2nd, 2024. So the last three videos that I have uploaded on August the 2nd, 2024, depending on where you are, it could have been August the 3rd, 2024. But it is regarding the VP um that's currently running for president. And I know those were interesting videos. I was looking at some photos of her, and I'm gonna probably post those. I don't know when. Not post it, but just like upload a video about it. It's obvious. It's obvious that this is a different person. Now, when it comes to people that's high in office like that, like somebody said, there's like four or five different, TRUMPs, you know, DT, uh there's more than one of these people anyway. There's more than one of these people anyway that you're going to be looking at. But at least with KH, whatever body double they're looking for, it could have at least been another female. I'm looking at some before pictures, or just some pictures as her being vice president. Just looking at pictures at like 57, 56 of age, and look at her whole neck and her chest, and it doesn't even look like that of a woman. So that's clearly somebody else. But I know these people, all of them that's high up like that, and including high profile celebrities, they have different people. It's like you will barely see the real one. But with that being said, I want to talk about this. It's clear in this movie, because I'm going to make a point to make sure I keep acknowledging that this is a movie. I have to make sure I keep acknowledging that, not to try to convince anybody else who's listening, but to make sure in the midst of my talking, I don't get too passionate to the point of taking all this seriously. So I have to make a point of acknowledging that this is all a stage. I have to acknowledge that every single time to make sure I don't get too passionate about stuff that's not even real. But it's clear. I don't think that men and women are compatible. And I'm going to say they're not compatible, just period. On this earth, I don't think men and women are compatible. I mean, I get that, what the Bible says about homosexuality. I'm not promoting homosexuality. That's not what I'm doing. There's a clear hatred of women. I feel like for the most part, women want men, but men do not want women. Men do not respect women. Men, I'm talking about men. Men, it's almost like they don't consider women to be their equal. And when I'm talking about their equal, I'm talking about as far as a being. I'm not talking about as far as muscles or, oh, a woman can do what a man can do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like they don't consider them to be their equal as far as just being a being. I would say human, but I know this is all fake. As far as being a sentient being, they don't consider women to be their equal. It's almost like they look down on women. Like women are beneath them. And with that type of dynamic in this simulation, because it seems to be all over the world, it might be some places where men don't think like that, but it's very few places. For the most part, women are underneath men, period. And with that kind of dynamic, the relationship, women and men are not compatible. I just cannot see. So when I thought it was some kind of track stuff happening with the Olympics, I thought it was a man that smoked a women. No, I happened to look at somebody who did a video about it, and it was a boxing match. And the man I think he knocked this lady out in 49 seconds and broke her nose or something like that, if I got the story right. All I know is 49 seconds. The fight ended. That's all right. So after 49 seconds, that's the number I remember. It's 49. And broke her nose. And it was a man that beat a woman like this. But I guess he was supposed to be posing as a woman. See, that's what we got to get to the point where now you're trying not to hurt somebody's feelings by not misgendering them. Like if they prefer to be called a woman, call him a woman. But he's clearly not a woman. He's a man that was much stronger than this woman. See, this misgender stuff, this stuff got to go. That was clearly a man that beat the heck out this woman and broke her nose. But because people are being so politically correct, not misgendering people, you allow a man, a clear man, to fight a woman in the Olympics and break her doggone nose because of this sensitivity of misgendering. But what's the protection for the woman? She just got her face beat in because of the sensitivity of not misgendering or being awake, being sensitive to people's preferences. I don't care about your preferences. If you want to be called a woman, that's fine if you want to be called a woman, but you need to know you're a man. Because see, the thing is, okay, you're supposed to be sensitive, and if they want to be called a woman, you should recognize them as a woman. But at the same time, when it's time for them to get on the track and field, when it's time for them to get in that doggone ring, and when it's time to compete, that person needs to be recognized as a man. That's it. See, then that's when they need to be recognized as a man. But the way... it's almost like the way he knocked her out is almost like a hatred of women. And I'm going to say a he, because it's a he. The way he knocked this lady out, and it's probably all over media. In the Olympics, this boxer that was a man knocked this biological woman out in 49 seconds. And it's almost like, for me, this is just how I felt about it. That was a clear hatred for women. It was like hate was coming from this man towards a lady that he probably don't even know. And I'm just seeing this in general. Now, it could be individual men who can feel like they don't hate women. And I hate it when an individual person, because they don't feel that way, they want to sit up and defend the majority of men. That is such a mistake to me, because at this point, seeing what I see, I would never defend the majority of women, biological women. I don't even know who the biological women are these days, but I would not defend the majority of biological women, because I used to feel like that about how these men want to defend majority of men. That is the wrong thing to do. You don't think just because you don't do certain things or you don't feel a certain way, don't think that everybody else supposed to think like you. That's not how that goes. So I don't even defend women like that. Like, I don't even defend majority of women. I have to really know who I'm dealing with. You can't mess around and defend nobody these days. You got to be careful defending somebody. It's almost like you defend somebody, you're glued to them. It's like you're like you take on their energy or something. I can't defend people like that. I can't defend them. I don't care. I cannot defend people. But you have some individual men and like, no, it's not that. It's not that. See, because they want to go and defend all men. Like, go ahead and defend all men. And what's coming from men is going to come for that person too. They want to defend him. Even if they don't feel that way, even if they one of the few that do not feel that way, by them defending the majority of these guys, they're going to drink the cup that's coming for the rest of these men anyway. They're going to drink that cup. That's why I'm not defending majority of women. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. Just because I don't do certain things, I cannot assume that just because I might not do certain things that everybody else has to think the same way. I'm past that right there. I'm past that. But I'm at the point of believing that women and men in this particular simulation right here, women and men are not compatible. Women and men are not compatible. There is a hatred. There is a hatred that maybe a lot of women, for some reason, can't see yet. They can't see it yet. But there is something that is, it's almost like it's natural. There is something inherent in men. Like, it's natural. It's something that's already been there. That they literally hate women. It's something that's inherent in them that they literally hate women. And honestly, a lot of the main people who know about these men and how these men are a lot of other transgender and sex workers. I used to listen to, what's this lady name? She has a channel called Nosy Ho, but I would listen to her before she had those channels. I used to listen to her before she had those channels. And the most of the stuff she would talk about is sex work, and not really just talking about like sex work. I mean, just talk about just everyday stuff, not just sex work. And she would talk about how she's like a sex worker, but sex work as far as doing a lot of videos, pornography, stuff like that. What's it called? Phone sex operator, mostly a lot of phone sex. And she would talk about how most of these men are. A lot of these women, these wives, think they married to the perfect man and stuff like that. And she was one I would hear talk about how these men, something is up with them. Something is wrong with these men. Something is not right with these men. They a hot mess. I mean, you might be lucky to find a few that are pretty decent, but for the most part, something is up with them. Like, they're strange. They're weird. Like, something is going on with them. Like I said, not every last individual is the same, but for the most part, any sex worker can say that same thing, and other people who are transgender will say that same thing. Because I've heard a transgender say what she said. Okay, a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these men, a lot of them getting caught with transgender is what they prefer. That's what I'm saying. This is something that's natural in these guys. This is something that seems to be natural. Now, the natural hatred is definitely around the world, but for some reason, these men are preferring transgender. That's happening a lot in the United States of America. Now, I don't know if that's happening around the world, but a lot of that brotherly love is real popular in the United States, and it's almost as if it's natural. That's why I said women and men are not compatible. And it's almost like they never been compatible. It's almost like men have been put with women just to have babies and keep populating or whatever in assimilation. But women and men were never compatible. So when you look at men, it's like you could think that maybe it is the climate, the way they grew up to cause them to behave the way they are, but something is genetically in them to cause, like, something is going on genetically for me. Something's going on with that. you know. But anyway, I just felt like talking about that. And I will talk later.